Absolutely.
Upgrade the OSs.
Before we move on to Kolja, so Ivan was very involved in the OS 12 development, also in the go to live in the beta phase. So he's a really good resource. If you have any questions, this is really cool. I had the pleasure yesterday to be in the beta phase for our new ICE course about Cosmos. He was also heavily influenced there. This is really great. I think we need a little bit more time to release it, but this is really cool. You can well, I'm really looking forward to show you because this is a really good course. Um, yeah. Also, I recorded yesterday our first ever community podcast together with Barry Brown. This is now going to production, and then probably next week I will release it. But enough of the updates from the community. As I said, so many new faces. If you're not already a member in the community, check out igelcommunity.com. Join us, join our Slack channel. It's a great place if you have any questions. But as Ivan pointed out, really right, today is the Kolja show. And as we produced a video about upgrading from 11 to 12, it was really high speed video, and today we want to give you the chance to see it live in live pace and also raise your questions. So probably Ivan and me and also the other IGEL guys will maintain the chat. If you have any question, put it in here in the chat. Probably we can answer it afterwards, or if we have a pause within the presentation, we can also put it forward. So, Kolja, please introduce yourself, and I would say it's your show.
Yes, so thank you. Thank you for the flowers in beforehand. So I think you can see my screen by now. So yeah, my name is Kruljac Knispel. I work in the pre-sales for IGEL. I started in support, but since 5 years I'm in the pre-sales, so I'm doing the demos for almost basic webinars or other things, and I'm helping also, of course, in my normal role, customers by the first rollout and by getting their environment to run and to enroll the first experience with IGEL. So in this day, I want to present how to update from 11 to 12. And for this, I think we should start with 3 slides, which will make the first introduction, and then we start to make our hands dirty and to get in the real environment. So first, what is the main feature of the new OS 11.09? This is the version which you can use, or which you use to upgrade to OS 12, because this version offers the first possibility to migrate to OS 12. So benefits is you can do it by a scheduled job to upgrade to OS 12, or you can also do it manually. That's your decision how you do it. Everything is then possible in your Java console or in the UMS web app. Yeah, and as René also said, if you have got questions in between, just put them there and we'll answer them later or maybe within. So first we go to the manual process. It's just a screenshot, of course. It's mentioned here that you must make sure it is also set in the OS type IGEL Linux 11 upgrade ready, which is also written then in your UMS Java console. Then you know it's possible. It's there, the latest 11.09 on the device, and you can choose a specific device command which says upgrade to OS 12. So this is a manual process, or on the other hand, automated process by a job. So you just create a job. I think you already know how to create jobs. You give it a nice name, this time upgrade ready, and then you can trigger it. And this is a new trigger also under scheduled jobs, which is called upgrade to OS 12. So that's the thing of the presentation. Now we'll switch to the real life, to our UMS console. So in this case, the Java console, I would say, is the old world. Old world is Java console, and new world is the UMS web app. But in the old world, we have to trigger the update to OS 12. So how do we do it? Best practice is, you see, I've got different folders under my name: OS 11, OS 12 devices, separated to Augsburg and Bremen. And I've got created a new folder, which is just for the upgrades. So this is a best practice to do so, to drag the devices to a special folder. In my case, it's called upgrade to OS 12. Drag the device there and make it ready for upgrade. If you haven't done so far the upgrade to OS 11, I also attached here firmware profile with OS 11. So at least here you will do the manual or the automatic update to OS 11. If you have done so, and you will see this here again, upgrade ready kernel and so on, so you know it's upgrade ready. If you don't see this, you can make a reboot of the device, or you can say specific device command. Oh no, I was wrong. Other commands, and then you say refresh system information. This will also get, again, in touch with the device, see if it's really on the right version, and then you'll get the feedback, okay, I'm upgrade ready, you can go on here. If you've done so, it's I will do the manual process for you now. You will say, okay, we'll go to shadowing first. I have to shadow to see and to show you what is happening here. So we do another shadowing. Oh, I did it already. It's already here. Okay, my device is ready. Nothing is on it, no sessions whatsoever. I go right click and I say specific device command, and I say upgrade to OS 12. I can do this because I also attached in my UMS, in my web app, the firmware for OS 12. I will show you this also in beforehand. Otherwise, you don't believe me what I did. So you see here on my web console now, upgrade to the same folder. I see here, there's my device. I have attached OS 12 version 12.2. There are old profiles from 11, doesn't matter. There's also still attached the old or the 11 or 9, which also doesn't matter for this upgrade. It will only, you see this OS 12 firmware upgrade to this. The other things will not be disturbing here. Okay, so I go back to my Java console, upgrade to this command, and do so. So now I will take around 30 seconds. This device is now being checked, really on the latest version, and so on and so on, and then it'll be executing. So now we've got a little bit time until this command will be executed. If you've got questions so far, yeah, just put it into the chat. So now you see here, IGEL OS 11 has been successfully upgraded to OS 12. Reboot is required. Reboot now. Of course, we want to do this. And the VNC shadowing will be stopped. That's, of course, right what we see here. And right, what you cannot see by now, or you can see it if I drag it here, it's a virtualized machine, which I have here. It's performing a reboot, and by rebooting, it's also bringing the ISO in it for OS 12, which is just happening in here. So this is now a pretty fast process. Already new logo from OS 12. And there we go with the first boot screen. And what it's doing here, it's also downloading Horizon. Why? I will show you later why it's already getting these profiles. Because it's because I made a default directory rule, and this device, after being converted to OS 12, will also be brought back to a folder where it has to be, and it has to be as an old OS 12 device. Performing another reboot to get the Horizon client installed. And there we go. So we've got Horizon and RDP session on it. So if I do here in my Java console a refresh, I will see that this device was moved to another folder by a default directory rule. This will also take now, for refreshing, several seconds. Then we see it's under Bremen. So that's why you see here's a little blue mark. So Bremen has got a default directory rule, which I created here under admin task, UMS administration. And you see here, I made it especially on a MAC address. And I said it's also MAC address and it's greater than 12. Then please move it to the folder Bremen. Of course, in your case, you will say maybe not on the MAC address specific, but on a IP range, for example. So you've got another IP range in Bremen than in Augsburg, and so you can do an automatic switching to another folder. So that's the thing and all the magic what I did, and it was pretty fast, I think. And yeah, now you can also see IGEL Linux 12 kernel and so on and so on. And now you're ready to go and work with these OS 12 device. And of course, you can go on now in the web app console and go on with configuring this device here. And obviously, of course, here you will also see the device got now to OS 12 Bremen, which is here. Yeah, that was it from my side. Please, we can go for questions.
I had a quick question. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you very well, yeah.
Cool. In reference to where you're pulling OS 12, are you pulling it from your UMS, or are you going to the IGEL app portal to the CDN to pull it?
I pulled it over my UMS, but there you are free. You can pull it over directly from our online web store, from our app portal directly, or you can pull it via a proxy via the UMS. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, maybe you could show that in the settings there for the apps, how you have that configured.
Yeah,
I think I get some questions on that a lot about.
All right. So I go for apps. I go for this setting, and I say here UMS. Is it from the UMS coming, or is it coming from the app portal? So here I can decide, will I have the UMS as a proxy? So first I go to the app portal, download the apps or the firmware in this case to the UMS, which I do, or you can decide to say directly from the app portal. So from the app portal would be interesting for you, for example, if you have got users which are not in your network, which are maybe in home office, so they don't need to look to the UMS. You don't need to have a connection that to the UMS, but they're directly loaded from the app portal, which will of course save you bandwidth and the work to have a connection between UMS and your users outside of your network.
Okay. Yeah, so outside the network, instead of coming back into your corporate network to get it, you can just use the IGEL's app portal, their CDN to pull. Okay,
right. Because otherwise you will need a VPN connection from your IGEL device outside your network. And this is not such a good idea. So good idea for, we say, home workers, for example, to have directly downloaded from the app portal.
Okay, thanks. One other thing I noted, or I had a customer, they were trying to do a virtual machine to do the testing of the OS 12, and they were actually using Hyper-V, and they set that up with their OS 1109 system in Hyper-V. They allocated 4 gig of memory, but they had enabled dynamic memory allocation, and they got some really strange error when it tried to go, because I guess it didn't see the full 4 gig of memory. It said it was okay to upgrade it, but it didn't work. So when we unchecked dynamic memory allocation in the Hyper-V VM, then everything worked. Just a interesting note. Yeah.
Okay. But that was done just for demo purposing, right?
Yeah, so, just for testing. They wanted to test. Yeah.
So I tested so far with VMware or Oracle VirtualBox. I haven't tested with Hyper-V, but good tip from your side that this could solve this issue. Yeah.
We had also one question about the feature parity between 11 and 12. At the moment, we don't have all features from OS 11 in 12. We're working hardly on this, and this will also come hopefully quite soon. So we're planning the meetup together with our development and PM department, where they can hopefully show a better picture than I can at the moment. But yeah, with every update, we coming closer and closer. But I have to say, at the moment, it's not the case that we have the same features between 11 and 12.
Right. That's why I always advise my customers to say, just update to UMS 12, because in UMS 12 you can manage OS 11 devices and OS 12 devices, and at least take one device to OS 12 to see if the feature parity is already enough for you, if you can work with this, and just to get also in touch with at least get in touch with OS 12 to see whether this is working for you, or if you should longer stay on 11 because you say, I've got a special thing which I need, which is only so far in OS 11, which is with full features. But there's no obstacle in just doing the test, upgrading to UMS 12, and getting already in touch with OS 12. Mm-hmm.
One of the other things, I think it might be good for everyone to try to first get an OS 12 device, make sure it can connect into the UMS,
Mm-hmm.
the web cert all works before you just try to take 11 to 12, because you might be trying to debug something with the web cert as well, maybe. I don't know. What are your thoughts there?
I didn't, once more, please. I didn't get the question right.
Oh, so basically with OS 12 devices, right, all of the communication goes through the web cert. I mean,
Right.
the web cert is kind of key. And what we've seen a lot from people having questions or issues is that the web cert doesn't have, all of the IP address, fully
Mm-hmm.
qualified domain names, et cetera,
Mm-hmm.
in the web cert, right?
Right.
And then you get the web cert errors. So
yeah, what you have to know is when you upgrade from UMS 6 to UMS 12, the web cert is created automatically. But if there's something missing in this web cert, you can also create it for yourself. So in the web cert, there should be the IP address, the name of the UMS server. And if this didn't work out whatsoever, you can go here and create your website again and make sure that everything is in, and then you're ready to go. What you have to know, if you create this website after you import it or after you registered your OS 12 device, you have to re-register them, because they will only look for the latest and for your activated certificate. They won't be able to manage anymore with a new certificate. Yeah. So, but normally when you just upgrade to UMS 12, you are in a testing scenarios with 1 or 2 IGEL devices, and you have to make sure, that they are that you onboard them later than your certificate was created.
Right. So if you have an ICG in the mix in here, does that web cert need to have the ICG in it as well, or?
The web cert is also used for the ICG. That's right.
So if you have an ICG, the web cert would need to have the ICG.
No. If you have ICG, you need to have it under the cloud gateway certificate, right?
Okay. So, the web cert would not have the ICG in it. So then, right? Okay. Yeah. I think that question's come up on the community before as well. So,
yeah. See, that's right. It's separated. For the web certificate and the cloud certificate is another certificate. That's right. Yeah. Different.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But in theory, I didn't test that, but it should work. If you have ICG only for OS 12, right? We are not talking about the OS 11 at all.
Right.
So if you set up the ICG and export the chain, you could get only with the certificate from the web if it contains the ICG IP address or DNS name as well, right? Why? Because with OS 12, device connector on the ICG is talking to device connector on the UMS server, right? So it's completely different idea and technology than it was in the OS 11, right? So only what we need to have in the certificate, DNS name of the ICGs, device connector, and device connector from the UMS server, right? Now, because when you are setting up the ICG, you will also managing the OS 11 devices. Then we get the new certificate for the cloud gateway in the cloud gateway part of the certificate management, which also have the correct name of the ICG / device connector service from the ICG server as well. It's a little bit more difficult and different story than it was before, but to short the story, create the certificate for the ICG under the cloud gateway. It should have the correct device connector certificate or IP address DNS name of the ICG, and web certificate will also be in use as well, right? Both of them should work, right? It won't be used one or the another if you are going through the ICG server, right?
Great.
But this is
for
also
clarifying.
This is also one troubleshooting tip, right? Maybe the ICG certificate is fine and OS 12 can use it, but you are still failing the registration after the upgrade. Why? Because the web certificate isn't good, right? So you will need to first test that web certificate by just scanning some kind of OS 12 device and just make sure that it can be registered easily on the network, and then proceed with the upgrade. One more topic as well for that upgrade part. I don't know, did you mention, Kolja, or you plan to mention, there is a 4 GB of RAM hardware requirement for the device.
That's right.
Nevertheless, there is a registry key on the device. You can configure that from the profile, or you can edit the device configuration under the system, where you can actually tell them, look, even though if you don't have, you need to edit OS 11 device, not OS 12.
Yeah, I see. Just go to one. You're right. So
even you don't have 4 GB of RAM, right? Allow the upgrade. So this is the registry key that you can get by with 2 GB of RAM. The second thing is that we can't go by under the system, if I remember correctly. Yes, open the system.
System, right? Registry.
Yeah, system registry system, right here. Oops.
Oh, good. Thank you. Good. Thank you. Yeah, got it.
And scroll when you see the update, or was it in the services? I can't remember on top of my head. Can you try to open the services as well?
I will. Right. So services, there are services, right?
Yeah, scroll down the services.
How should it should be
update something. So we are searching for you.
Yeah, no, it's
is
not.
it the OS 11.9?
It's that's right. No, this device is not on 11, it's on 11, right? Okay, that's the point now, right?
Yeah. So nevertheless, in 11 or 9, there is a registry key that you need to enable to allow if you have less than 4 GB of RAM. There is the second registry key there that you need to allow if you are using custom partitions, right? Because the upgrade, if you have custom partition, will not be possible. So there is a registry key that you can enable that will ignore custom partitions. And of course, it will delete them during the upgrade process. So what you need to make sure that you have OS 12 profiles for custom partitions already when the device is updated to OS 12, so he can re-download the custom partitions again to the device, right? So 2 registry keys that are kind of the showstopper for the upgrade, 2 GB of RAM, and the custom partition. The third the third part that can be a showstopper is hard disk drive space, right? For that, the upgrade won't be possible if you have less than 8 gigabytes. So there are a few IGEL UD3 devices or UD2 or even UD6 devices that have maybe 4 gigabytes of flash drive, right? For those hardware, you can't upgrade from OS 11 to OS 12. You can install manually with USB key, but you won't be able to upgrade via UMS.
I'm just trying to get this, what you said also in a picture. So system registry. So then under system, you said, system, right. And then under you upgrade IGEL OS. So there is ignore memory, what you first said, right?
Yeah, so you need
memory.
to enable that one. Yep.
Right.
And the second one, if you are using, right above that one is the custom partition stuff, right? Because custom partition are as well the showstopper. So if you don't remove custom partitions, fine, but you will need to kind of ignore them, right? As I said, no, it's not kind of a bad thing because after the upgrade, device will re-download the custom partitions as well if you created OS 12 custom partition profiles properly, right?
There was a third one you said, Ivan, a third
hard disk
registry.
drive. Yeah, but there is no registry key. It is what it is, right? 8 gigabytes of hard drive should be minimum, right?
Yeah. So from our IGEL hardware, we can say the UD3 LX60 has got 4 gigabyte of RAM
and 340, I think. LX340.
Yeah.
340, right?
And the UD7 LX10 is also capable for OS 12.
Yeah.
So I'll add a separate note to the IGEL community docs with the how to Cosmos FAQ around the upgrade. Ivan, I'll add those items there that you mentioned. And then in reference to the IGEL community and custom partitions, some of the custom partitions I've updated so that you can build it for OS 11 or for OS 12. For OS 11, you have the option of pre-1109 using the Ubuntu 1804 for libraries if there's library dependencies. When you go to 1109, then our libraries are based off of 2204. So you would have a Ubuntu 2204 system that you would use my automated custom partition builder. The custom partitions, and if you're doing OS 12, then you'd have a 2004 system. The automated builder will see that and know that it's generating it for 12. So, but ping me if you've got on IGEL Community on Slack if you're in the custom partition channel, and I'll help you with that or answer your questions here.
Great. We had one question from Milan around the dependency on hard-coded IP requirements in the certificates.
For the web cert, right?
Yeah. And if this can be changed easily later, or is this a problem or challenge?
Milan, you can change web certificate whenever you want, right? Especially the signed part where you are putting the IP address or the DNS name. My certificates are all based on the DNS name. I don't use the IP addresses in my web certificates at all. Right now, the only problematic part can be if you already have OS 12 devices registered on the UMS server, and you decide to go with a public sign certificate, for example, right? In that case, you will need to replace the root certificate as well, right? For those devices, you will need to re-register them to the UMS server because they will need to pull the new root certificate.
Right.
I pasted that how to Cosmos FAQ with a link to the UMS. I also have a video there showing the steps to create the web cert and assign it to your UMS. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. And by the way, this is an awesome document and work you're doing there. So can say thank you enough.
Well, it's for me because I get so many questions I can't
Yeah.
remember. So I
Yeah.
put it there. So
But
someone else
this,
asks a question. It's like,
yeah.
I think I know how to do that. And then I look at my documents and, oh yeah, I
but
did.
this is what community is all about. I saw this also with last document about around unified communication, and yeah, sure, this is helping you, but this is also helping a lot of other people, I can guarantee you. And so this is really great work.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have? Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah. The other thing I was saying is if you see something or something's missing out of the How to Cosmos FAQ or whatever, just ping me on IGEL Community on Slack and say, hey, I figured this out, give it to me and I'll add it to the list as well. So if you find something, let me know so I can learn something. I remember when I went off to college, my dad said, hey, if you think you know everything, you learn nothing. So I learn a lot.
So just continuing on that web cert IP address, the hard coded. So I often see that as a recommendation as to hard code, even in the ICG, as well as now this web cert. So I'm curious why that's a consistent recommendation, especially since infrastructure, can move around. IPs can change. Typically, the host names, at least those can remain, but you don't always have control over the IP. So I'm very hesitant when I see a hard-coded IP being requested. I usually try to avoid that sort of scenario, right? So
yeah, well, it's not official request, right? The web certificates will be issued with the IP address. Why we are doing that, I honestly don't have the answer on that, right? But nevertheless, when you are using public certificate, you will never have the IP address, right, for the ICG or for the UMS server for UMS 12, right? So it's not hard requirement. We don't really need to have IP addresses in the web certificate. They are issued by default. For what reason, I really don't know. But you don't need to have them. DNS names are absolutely enough for the cloud gateway certificate and for the web certificate. And most of our engagement, especially in that we are doing with advanced services or professional services, especially with the public science certificate, and of course with the public science certificate, there is no IP addresses in there at all, right? And you can use the wildcards like Kolja is showing and so on and so forth, which don't contain the IPs at all.
So like if we look here on the screen, if we expand, in the server, move up and expand server, I think IP is in there, right? So if the IP address changes.
Yeah, there is no last known IP address, but that is hard coded. Yeah, that is in the for example in our web services, but the certificate itself completely you can get rid of the IP addresses from there, right? So what did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thanks for the clarification. No, I see it in the KBs as well as sometimes recommendations. So I was curious why it's always recommended to have the IPs in there. I just want to make sure I'm clear in not including them because again, there's always the potential that the IP of the server, depending if it's being moved or something like that, will change and you have no control. So I'd rather avoid including it, right?
You can see it also here. In older times, I used to have also the IP address inside, but this certificate is not used anymore. And in use is this wildcard certificate without the IP. So that's proven that it works also like this.
Thank you.
So one more topic I want to open as well. It is when can I see if my upgrade is failing? What's going on? How can I realize, what I need to look at? And only and before actually, we can see on the OS 11 device that he wants to reboot because everything went well, right? So the answer to that question is, for example, we send the upgrade process to the device and device stays on OS 11 and stays for 2 days, right? Now, if everything is fine and then command is sent to the device is here, right? But the real deep troubleshooting we will do on the device itself, right? So you will need to switch on the device. You will need to open the terminal or secure terminal to the device and open journal. In the journal, you will see what's going on. And then, for example, then goes shared the screenshot in the chat with exactly that. He did cut that from the journal where he actually sees some errors where his upgrade is failing. So again, if you start the upgrade process, nothing is happening. You can repeat the process again. Just open the journal on that device, journal CTL -F. It will give you the real-time data, and you can just observe the logs and see, what's going on. Or you can just simply right-click on the device, save files for support. That will also trigger collecting the system log files and the journal log, and then you can play or open the zip file and read the journal just to see what's going on. I saw the errors, for example, when I had 4 gigabytes of hard disk space, it will says storage error. I saw when my device couldn't get the OS 12 image from the UMS server, that he was failing to download installation or something like that. So the logs will help you to troubleshoot what's going on.
Yeah, thank you for this, Ivan.
Yeah. By the way, just don't reboot the device and then collect the logs. If you reboot the device, then repeat the upgrade process, wait for that to essentially do nothing, and then collect the logs and read them and see what's going on.
This
So
is,
for that,
yeah. So this is great. So thank you for all these insights, Kolja for the demo, Ivan for the insights, everyone else who helped in the chat. That was really, really great. And this is, as I said, what's community about. So if you have any question, please talk now or write in chat. I see one more question.
I posted some in the Q&A as well.
Okay. Let me see.
So there are 2 requirements how to proceed with the upgrade. The first requirement is the UMS server. So UMS server needs to be 12.02, I think 120. Why? Because in the version before 120, 120, there is no, when you go to other commands, there is no update or special commands. There is no update to UMS to OS 12, right? So you will need to update the UMS if you want to perform the upgrade, right? The second requirement is obviously 1109 firmware. That is bare minimum, right? Those 2 things are the bare minimum. And then there are hardware requirements on the device itself, right? 4 gigabytes of RAM or /2, 8 gigabytes of hard disk space, and then you can go and proceed with the upgrade.
So yeah, Milan was right. So in the chat, I think we covered everything. The question from Dan Goss was also covered in the chat, I think. Yeah. So Milan wrote, "How can OS 12 upgrade can be triggered by device boot or reboot? This is needed to help automate mass updates, assignments, updates to offline devices, etc. Will the
only by jobs, Milan? So the right click on the whole device structure can be one approach, and the second approach can be with the job. So you can schedule the jobs, during the night or something like that.
Yeah.
So
for profiles. Yeah.
Will that ever be coming? Was that a consideration? Because for customers with lots of devices, these devices end users might own them in their own environments, home environments. The devices are turned off. So how can this be done in an automated fashion to support this sort of infrastructure?
So right now we don't have anything, that you can control via profiles, but that can be a good topic, for example, for Rene to point with the PMs on the session that you are planning to have with the PMs, right, Rene? And you can discuss then on that webinar, right?
Yeah.
Right now, yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know how much. So we reported the feedback already. I don't know which status this has, and also the other question about lighter weight OS 12, because I get it for the UD2 devices. This is a challenge, absolutely, but probably this is also something which we reported already. The feedback we gave directly to our PM, to our development, to our ELT also, and Ivan, I don't know if do we have something official now regarding a topic about a lighter version of OS 12? Do you know something about this?
No. No.
So yeah, probably when we have our CTO in the meeting, or maybe we can put Matthias Haas on the call. Probably he can talk a little bit more about the plans, about the timeline, and the status, I would say, right? But yeah, I also don't have any update on this. I'm very sorry. But this is the plan. We wanted to have a bi-monthly webinar where you directly can talk to the PM, to the development, to our IGEL Ready partners, to give feedback, to talk with them face to face, to give them the needs you have. Also with Cosmos, I think Cosmos is a great platform from the idea, and we're working every day very hard to make it better and better and better, and we come to the point where we have the feature parity, and we have a point probably also in the future where we are over OS 11 by far. But yeah, this is something we work very hardly every day at the moment.
So one more thing before I forget, I want to point out, you can on the one folder, you can put OS 11 and OS 12 profiles at the same time, right? So
That's
you
what I
can,
did, right? Mm-hmm.
yeah. So device can actually, OS 11 will use OS 11 profiles, OS 12 device will use OS 12 profiles, right? So there is no need. It's great practice to keep them separate, right? OS 11 and OS 12. But if you don't want to do that, you can still keep OS 11 and the 12 in the same folder, but you will need to, of course, create the profiles for OS 12, right?
Yes. All right. Any more questions? Do you have feedback for us? Any more needs? Because this is the thing. IGEL grew over the years through the feedback from the customers, through the needs of the customers. We added solutions, use cases to our product only because of you, of our customer base, of our channel and partner base. This is really important for us also to make the product better and also make the product covering your needs, right? So this is a great place. If you're not having anything for today, as I said, you can always come to the community and ask questions. And yeah, we have one more question. Any news when the Java console will be gone entirely? Ivan, do you have anything on Kolja?
Well, I know
the moment we push the whole setting, every setting in the web console. So basically, I think through the next year or by the end of the next year, we will be the developers will be able to do that, right?
Awesome.
Yeah, I think the other thing is once IGEL has the full support for Pixie support and Pixie install and stuff, I think that would be another good session to have and go over that. Yeah,
absolutely. Awesome. As I said, if you have any question, come to the community, come to our Slack channel. We can continue a discussion over there. And if we not have any more question, I want to say thank you for everyone. Kolja, great job for the demo. Ivan, great job for your feedback. And I want to say thank you. I will upload the recording pretty soon, and I will inform everyone via LinkedIn in our community when we have the next meetup. We are in the talks at the moment for our year-end talks together with the Office of the CTO, but we have also a lot of ideas for other meetups. I now identified, I think, 30 topics which we wanted to put in little 2 to 3 minute videos, which we're working on the next months. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I want to thank you. Have a great evening. We have one more day, then we have a hopefully great weekend, and hope to see you soon in the community or in our next meetup. Have a great day. Bye.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
Bye all.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Take care. Thank you.
Bye bye.